Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press podcast, a college basketball experience here. Luke Taylor in the flesh. We got a guest to our, I guess it's to our my left. No, wait, I don't know.
It'll be to the right of everybody's screen, so it's all good.
This is the technology part that sucks. But we got Sammy D, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review if you love the podcast. If you just can palatably put up with us, or at least me, like my wife does, just give us a 5-star review so I can make life a little bit easier. But
we've had a lot of 5-star reviews the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate everybody.
I know. Thank you. So we have probably, the most consistent coach and team in mid-major basketball, if not all of basketball, 4 times in a row. Regular season MAC champions, Coach Tod Kowalczyk. Did we say it right? I was going to call you Coach K.
You did not get it right, but I am not the least bit offended. I get it all the time. It's Kowalczyk.
Kowalczyk. There he goes.
Oh, there's no ski. You know what? This is what happens when
I told LT I was just going to call you Coach Tod.
Yeah, guys, I'm not big into the coach stuff, so call me Todd. I prefer even my players don't even call me coach.
But just wait a second. You're Todd with only one D though.
Yeah. Just to be unique. Long story.
Yeah.
It was a fight between my mom and dad in the hospital when I was bored. And,
who won?
My dad obviously did. She wanted me to be Rod Jr. and he didn't want to be. So when he went down to sign the paperwork, he put a T in front of the R. True story.
So coach, you're doing. I mean, you're consistent. You're consistent. Which is obviously in life is a good thing. Hopefully, you're consistent outside of basketball. But I live in MAC country. Obviously, you asked where we live. I'm in Akron. And I've always watched your teams, and where I really noticed you guys was against App State. We had Coach Kearns and Trevon Spillers on the podcast. I mean, I know you came out on the losing end, but that was a awesome game.
Yeah,
I just feel like we gave that one away, guys. I lost a lot of sleep for a couple of days. They're really good. It would have been a great win. Yep. Up 9 with 2 to play. Just don't turn it over and you win. Mm-hmm. We turned it over, and that's a trademark of our program. We don't turn the ball over, and unfortunately in that game that we did. But that would have been a great win, and woulda, coulda, shoulda, but we gave it away. I think Dustin would tell you the same thing, that they stole it from us.
No, he said he kicked your ass. we're part college basketball, part therapy. We were just Sam's out in Colorado. We just had Tad Boyle. I don't know if you know Tad, the coach at Colorado.
I do. A very good friend.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And I asked these questions, which we'll get to, and I'm not going to ask you because then I spoiled it. I said, Coach, what is one of your most memorable games? Coach sprued out 3 games they lost that have been affecting them for 20 years.
It's amazing how coaches are that way. They look at the games that they should have won, or maybe it was just a really bad call at the end, whatever it may be. But we have a hard time letting things go. We do.
Yeah.
So that's just coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Todd, LT mentioned the game against App State. I was really impressed with your non-conference schedule, this year, as well as kind of how you kind of build that in years past. It's getting harder for mid-majors to build strong non-conference schedules. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, how you go about that process each year, and also how this year's non-conference schedule against teams like New Mexico and Indiana State and Vermont, who's really hot right now, West Virginia, how does that affect you going into MAC play?
Well, to be honest with you, I think this year's schedule was extremely difficult, to be honest with you, because we lost 3 great players, maybe too tough of a schedule. Now, you got to keep in mind, now, we did that schedule thinking we had Ray J. Dennis coming back.
Who's that?
Good one. But he said, and I thought the scheduling for us goes back really 2 years, because last year I knew we had a really good team, and I thought an at-large worthy team with Seth Milner, JT Shoemate, and Ray J. Dennis. Yeah. So we had to elevate our schedule. So we decided, hey, let's go play at Vermont. Let's go play at George Mason. Let's go play at Northern Iowa. And then in return, you get them to come to our place the following year. And then you get West Virginia in there. But I think for us to get really good mid-major games, it's not as difficult as some of the coaches say it is.
Mhm.
Now, you may have to travel, and it may cost you some money to travel, but we can get the George Masons and the Vermonts and the Northern Iowas to play us. Now, can we get Ohio State or Louisville or Xavier or Dayton? No, they won't play us. But yeah, I do think this Sun Belt Challenge helps us. We got App State on the schedule. We got Louisiana.
Mhm.
Next year, knock on wood that we have everybody coming back, we'll probably be picked to win the league. So we'll get the best Sun Belt team in November on the road. So that's only going to help us. And then we went to Vegas, and you mentioned those teams we played: New Mexico, Indiana State, and Cal Irvine.
Mhm.
Tremendous teams, and we wanted to play those teams. Unlike some, I'm going to throw Indiana State under the bus here, who thinks they're an at-large team, right?
Mhm.
They could have played New Mexico, and they could have played Irvine. They didn't want to.
Yeah.
They had choices to play them.
We've had Indiana State on the podcast.
I bet you did. But if I'm an Indiana State fan, you know what I would say? Why didn't you play New Mexico? Why didn't you play Irvine?
Yeah, but Coach, this I mean, listen, this goes back to the beginning of basketball. Okay, you look at Syracuse, for instance. I was a big East fan. I grew up in Canada. Syracuse's non-conference schedule was always crap. I mean, it just was. Let's be honest. Is it? As a former coach in another sport, and we both played Division I sports, and I coached it too. I would rather have your schedule, because here's the thing: when you go into the MAC tournament this week and you've played the regular season, you're ready to roll. I mean, you've handled adversity this year, right? I mean, you lost players before. You think, I mean, it always seems like you never shy away from challenges.
Well, I think you're dead right. But
you hear that, Sam? Dead right.
Dead right.
Not many people say that about LT.
But here's the thing I'll tell you. When we're 6-6, why don't you say that to my AD and my fan base? Because they weren't very happy.
Hey, give me his cell phone. True. I'll call him.
True. They're like, boy, what's wrong with this team? Well, they don't, people have you're knowledgeable basketball. We went and played at Oakland. Yep. And Greg Campy, you guys probably
great team.
Great team. Great guy.
Yep.
He shook my hand before the game, and he swore at me, and he said how stupid I was for playing that schedule. He said, Todd, I'm playing against, Xavier. I'm playing against Ohio State. My fans know I'm probably not supposed to win that game. Your fans aren't smart enough to know that maybe you're not going to win against Irvine, New Mexico, Vermont. Those are really good teams. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a catch-22. I totally agree with you. It helps us. I'm convinced that's why we won the MAC regular season championship. We had that non-conference schedule.
Non-conference
6-6, things weren't all rosy. I'll tell you that.
No, but I mean, you would hope by the success you've had at Toledo, and I think you've only had one losing season, which was the season you inherited, right? Your first season, and then the last 13 seasons have all been winning seasons. LT already mentioned 4 consecutive, conference regular season titles. What's the support been like the last 3 or 4 years? I mean,
we have arguably the nicest mid-major arena in the country. If not the top, we're in the top 5 in the nation. And our fan base is good. We average over 5,000 every year.
Wow.
I'd like to see it be 6,000. We had hold 7, so we're probably maybe 1,000 too big. But it's a great facility. We've got a great tradition, great fan base with high expectations, and I love that.
Yeah. Yep. So we had your commissioner, John Steinbrecher, on one of our first episodes, and it was literally the week that they came out with the NIT that if you win the regular season, you're not going to get an automatic bid.
Yep.
I think for you, I mean, the MAC has been a 2-bid league in the past. I mean, it hasn't been for a couple years or what have you. With your schedule, if you got a couple games, like you said, the App State game, maybe 1 or 2 or the others, you're looking, even if you don't win the MAC conference tournament, you could get an at-large bid. Do you think with the way, and we're going to go back to scheduling a little bit, the way the NIT's kind of set, do you see more mid-majors maybe following your lead on kind of scheduling tougher?
I hope so. And I hope our commissioner mandates some more stricter regulations in our conference to force these teams at the bottom of the league to play against a good schedule. And our net ranking as a league right now has continued to decline over the last 5 years.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be that way. We were traditionally one of the best mid-majors in the country, and that has slipped, and it's because just my opinion here, guys. I think there's 3 or 4 administrations that force these coaches to go play guaranteed road games to help support some non-revenue sports.
Yep.
And it kills their basketball program because now they're offsetting those road guarantee games with playing non-division ones at home. So they go into conference play and they have 2 or 3 wins, and it's killing our league.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, the best way for our league to get better is the bottom's got to get better. The top's been good. Akron's a really good team. Toledo's a really good team. Ohio's a really good team. It's not the top, it's the bottom that has to get better for our league to get more recognition and get 2 teams in. And I think our league as a whole has got to do a better job of marketing. Like you hear Indiana State being mentioned as an at-large right now, right? Today?
Yep.
Did you hear Toledo get mentioned last year when we won 17 straight games? Did you hear Toledo being mentioned at all?
No, I mean, I think that there's that level of respect that, like,
Well, Sam, just wait a second. We weren't around last year, Coach. If we were around, you would have heard about it. Come on now.
I hope so. But
I remember you guys going on that hot streak last year, and
17 in a row
in just crickets, on the national media.
Yeah, at least talk about us on the next 4 out, or don't say we're in, but at least put us on one of those lines.
You were on the CBI bubble.
Yeah. So Todd, we've already kind of hit on like your consistency and just like winning philosophy. Talk a little bit about this year's season. I mean, we see a lot of programs that won their conference regular season, but they did it with a lot of juniors, seniors, 5th-year seniors coming from the transfer portal, right? Like it seems like the loyalty on your team who's come back from last year, right? Like with Raheem Morris and some other guys. And then you did really well getting Sonny Wilson, and then you had the redshirt freshman Javon Simmons. Like it seems like you already had that locker room culture built, right? And how important is that? And then I look at next season and I'm like, holy shit, like you have the potential to have everybody back already in a winning program who's already bought into that culture. So talk a little bit about this year's squad.
Well, we in our rotation right now, we're playing 9 guys, 5 freshmen and 4 juniors. We don't have a single senior on the roster. We have no sophomores on the roster. It's all freshmen and juniors.
Freshmen and juniors.
And our freshmen had to step up, and they did. We have 4 of them that really have performed well. The first one you mentioned is Javon Simmons. He redshirted last year. The awards haven't come out, but if he's not the unanimous freshman of the year, I'd be shocked. Just like Enrique Freeman has to be unanimous player of the year at Akron. Has to be. And Javon Simmons has to be freshman of the year. Those are 2 easy picks.
Who has to be coach of the year?
I have no idea. No idea.
Todd already has like some of those in his trophy case.
I know.
Yeah, so we it's been a fun team because these freshmen, they have maybe more buy-in and their ears are a little bit bigger because it's the first time they've heard some things. But our freshmen have been good. So you mentioned Sonny Wilson, Javon Simmons. Sam Lewis has had a solid freshman year, and so has Bryce Ford from Phoenix, Arizona. Those 4 freshmen have been solid all year. And then our veteran leadership with Raheem Moss, Dante Maddox, and Tyler Cochran. It's been a good nucleus. And knock on wood, we've stayed healthy and we've stayed together, and that's why we've had the success we've had.
Yeah, you guys are a fun team to watch. You're really it seems like it's unselfish. The ball, you're passing the ball. I think you're top 40% in top 40 in points per game, and then top 30 with field goal percentage. And I like just the aggressiveness on defense. Like you look at Tyler Cochran, for instance, he follows us on Instagram and vice versa. And I see a lot of the highlights in him and stuff like that. He's not a tall guy in that essence, but that guy's a effing bulldog.
Yeah.
Like he's quick. He's smart. I mean, and Raheem Moss, who we're going to have on the podcast too after you. I mean, I'm just really impressed with your team.
Well, I think, like our fan base, is very critical of the fact that I don't, maybe we're not big enough. Well, size is there's three categories in size. All right. The first is the obvious, is height, right? The second, which I don't think people understand, is length. Javen Simmons is long.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem Moss is long. Dante, those are long guys. And then the third one, and the most important for us on size, is just strength. You mentioned Tyler Cochran and Raheem Moss. Those guys they're football. I mean, Tyler Cochran looks like an NFL linebacker. He does.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 240. And he's all at 240, but he's not an ounce of fat on him. Raheem Moss turned down Kentucky and Cincinnati as a linebacker for football. We're a physical team. We got size and we got toughness, and we got buy-in. And I think the reason why we've had success this year is our team got better defensively. And I so much give credit to my assistant coaches who do an unbelievable job. But they got our team got better defensively as the season's progressed. We've always been good on offense, but our defense continued to get better.
Yeah. Sam, he forgot the fourth thing.
What's
There's
that?
4. There's not 3, 4. You forgot
Just
heart.
Heart. Yeah. Heart with physicality.
Come on, Coach.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, this season's been just stellar for you, Todd. Your freshmen are just studs. Like, I mean, even guys that are coming off the bench. Like, I've become a big fan of Sam Lewis from Simeon. I follow a lot of Chicago guys coming up through high school and things like that. And I think he's going to be a star for you guys in the future.
He's an all-league talent. He is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the conference schedule this year, you guys were on a really hot run. Then you guys lose 2 in February. Yeah. Right. You guys hardly ever lose 2 in a row in conference the past couple of years. Then you lost the only home game in conference against Northern Illinois. Right. You guys got beat in the second half, basically. What was the message in the locker room after that game? Because it seems like you guys just bounced back right away.
Yeah, those are, you mentioned some losses. They were, I'm going to give you some Tad Boyles. The Central, we go up to Central Michigan, and they're a very improved team. Yeah, we just couldn't make a shot. There was an awful, awful, awful technical foul called that was I don't want to say it cost us the game, but it changed the game. Mm-hmm. And then we, Bowling Green loss. You're on the road, sold out, a good team, rivalry game. We've had, 5, 6 straight wins against them. I think we won 12 of the last 14, whatever it is. They deserve to win that game. They play a little bit better than us. But then the Northern Iowa ones, the one I'm getting at, that cost everybody sleep. It did. And all year long, we've gotten key stops at the end of games. That game we did not. We had 22 assists and 6 turnovers. And you shoot 50% and you lose.
Yeah,
that never happens. And it was just we let a bad team hang around, and they got a great player in David Coit. And then all of a sudden, one of their freshmen starts making threes, and at the end, we had some really good defensive possessions, and they just made tough shots. But it was our fault for letting them hang around, and we've been a mature group. We were immature that game and that night, and that started with me too. I was immature as well, and that can't happen.
No. But it seems like it's happening. You're not the only team in America that's happened to. I mean, you look at Akron, who's your biggest competitor right now. I mean, they lost 2 in a row. They had to win 1 to get the league title. They lost. They went to Western Michigan. I think it was Eastern Michigan, and lost. I mean, we can go down the list of these losses of 2. We've had Bobby Marlin on the podcast. Right. I know you know him and you played against him. Tad Boyle will tell you from 20 years ago the 2 losses he lost. Yeah. Literally. So. I guess it's how you mitigate it and you just move forward. What I think is really impressive, in 22 years, you've only been at 2 different schools. That's not normal.
No,
What's wrong with you?
Well, Green Bay, it was my hometown. I was there for 8 years, and a guy named Bruce Shepard was the chancellor who hired me. Ken Butoff was there for my entire 8 years as an AD. I just thought the world of those 2 people. But Green Bay's a hard job. What Sundance Wicks did this year was remarkable because that's a hard job. It's a hard place to recruit to. It's underfunded. The salaries are not good.
Dick Bennett.
Yeah, it's a hard place. And when I had an opportunity to come to Toledo, I knew the potential of this place. And I really believed in Mike O'Brien, the athletic director. And he was here for my first 13 years. So I've worked for 3 ADs, and my family loves Toledo. I have a son that's a sophomore in high school who's actually a recruitable MAC or above level player. He's a good player. So we got a family decision coming up on that. I got a daughter that's a freshman in high school. We love living here. It's a great city.
Yeah.
It sucks you in. The community support is awesome. My wife loves it here. Life is good in Toledo, and we're winning. So it's hard to leave.
There's good golf in Toledo too, I might add.
I'm a member.
Yeah.
Talking about Inverness, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We went to the Solheim Cup a couple years ago. My daughter's a competitive golfer. She's a freshman in high school, and I'm like, man, this place is cool.
I was there. It's an unbelievable course. I mean, and hopefully for the greater Toledo area, Northwest Ohio, we get a PGA or US Open here. But they deserve it because it's a heck of a place.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Yeah. So you talk about the players you have, and I want to talk about Ray J. Dennis just a little bit. How difficult is with the NIL and the transfer portal, how it is. It obviously doesn't benefit. When it first came in, we were talking about how it's going to kill the mid-major conferences. It's just going to be picking. You were one that lost a player, unfortunately, a very good, very, very good player, and is obviously doing well. We've had Northern Colorado, who had Dalton Connect, who's striving at Tennessee. Do you worry about losing players each year from it? Or is it just kind of like, you know what, I've got a good culture. I'm not going anywhere. It sounds like you're not going anywhere. I mean, what do you do? I guess I don't.
Well, am I worried about it? Absolutely. But at the same time, I think if you coach your guys the right way, treat them the right way. I have relationships with them and their families. Yeah. You're going to retain more than not. And we treat our guys great. We feed them exceptionally well. I'm not a guy that's in their face in practice and M&F-ing guys. That's just not my style. I like to have fun. I like to smile. I like to, hang out with them. So I think we'll retain more than we will lose. But you mentioned Ray J. Dennis. Can't say enough good things about him. Scott Drew just texted me after we clinched our championship and thanked me for Ray J. And I say, you owe me a lot of beer, Scott. A lot. I'm a beer drinker. I'm not sure he is, so I'm going to make him pay.
Yeah.
But Ray J. Dennis is as solid of a person as there is. And I'm going to hire him as an assistant coach when he's done playing basketball. That's how highly I think about it. I can't. What else can you? What greater praise can you say than I want that guy on my staff? Yeah. Even after he left me, I still want him on my staff.
No, it says a lot about both you guys. And, when you talk about assistants, you were an assistant from a really good coach, Tom Crean, right? Yep. You were on the coaching staff when Dwyane Wade was there. Yeah. And then, I look at your coaching staff and, you've got a stud associate head coach in Jeff Massey, right? Like your experience as an assistant, you even talking about future assistants on your team and stuff like that you want to hire, like Ray J, what did that mean for you as an assistant, and how do you kind of take that experience into really the coaching philosophy and the coaching tree that you're building?
Well, I wouldn't be a head coach without Tom Crean and the guy that's on that wall right there.
D Wade, baby.
D Wade.
Never heard of him either.
I was at DePaul University when you were coaching at Marquette, and D Wade was just beating the shit out of us. And I was like, I got glimpses of what he looked like Jordan in a college team. And I was like, this could be the next Jordan, right? Just the way he plays and everything. So
I owe so much to those two because of Dwyane Wade. We were 26 wins. We were 9th in the country. And then the Green Bay job opens up. So in 2002, I'm a head coach at age 36 because of him. Yeah. Tom Crean taught me a lot. I thought I was prepared before I worked for him. I wasn't. His attention to detail was remarkable. So those two guys are the reason why we've had success in this profession. And then you talk about Jeff Massey. I like to hire guys that played. I just do. And Massey was a great player at Xavier. As good of a human being as really. He's one of those guys, you probably know people like this, but if somebody doesn't like Jeff Massey, something's wrong with them. He's just there's nothing there. He's the best.
Yeah.
And then Justin Ingram was a great player here.
Mhm.
And he's a rising star, future Division I head coach, hopefully soon. And then Jordan Love played for me. So that's my three. And then Brandon Pritzel's on staff, who was a really good player at Hillsdale, and I went to the same high school with him at the Pure White, Wisconsin. So I got a really good staff of guys that play the game, understand the game, and help our players get better.
Yeah. You think Coach Crean's going to coach again?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. He can't help it. He's in his. It's. I just hope for him he finds the right fit.
Yes.
And I think, geographically that's going to be important. Let's get him back to the Midwest someplace where he knows the roots, knows the recruiting.
Yeah, Georgia was not a good fit for him. And no offense to him. I thought Indiana was good. I just think Indiana's their expectations are a little bit not what they need to be. And I mean, that's a lot of programs, but
100%.
Indiana especially, so Coach, we do this little thing called the shot clock. I'll just take over because Sam's thinking of a better question than I am. So I'm going to ask you about 6 or 7 questions. I'm going to make you think. I'm not going to ask any questions I asked Tad Boyle because I feel like you're going to probably, extrapolate on some of them, but just whatever comes to your mind. All right. So First question, one word to describe the MAC.
Competitive.
Okay. Who leads the team in personal fouls per game?
Tyler Cochran.
Is he right?
No, Javen
Simmons.
3.1 personal fouls per game.
Right.
Who leads the conference in lowest fouls as a team per game?
Toledo.
Ball State, you're second last. You're second, actually. Ball State, 15.1. All right, actually, here's a question I'm going to ask you that I asked Coach Boyle. Most memorable game? Hopefully it's a good one.
Boy, I think maybe when I was at Green Bay, we beat Butler when they were number 9 in the country.
Yep.
Oh.
And that kind of put me on the radar for search firms. Then the following year, we beat Wisconsin when they were 22nd in the country, and that those 2 wins got me the Toledo job. Got my name out there with search firms.
Good. So thank you for the positive aspect of it. The one arena you haven't coached in you'd love to coach in?
I would say Kentucky.
Ooh. You think they'd play you?
No. I think we're not going to get Duke on the schedule next year, but the year after. My nephew is Con Knippel. So I've talked with John about it. We're going to get that done so we can have a little family affair.
That'll be nice. Funniest recruiting story that you can share?
Oh, boy, I wish I had these questions ahead of time. I could have thought of some good stuff.
No.
I would, so much has to do with the travel. Sometimes when you're traveling and you're trying to find a bathroom and you're not in a very good part of town, that's an issue, and that's happened to me. We've all been there, right? We've all been there.
I mean, so is Dan Dockich.
Yeah.
And we had Dan on, and he went on a 5-minute storytelling about taking a number 2 in a Ponderosa, and it just went completely off the tracks of our podcast. But he's not one to hide words for sure.
Yeah. So if you had a starting 5 of funniest coaches, who would they be?
Bob Huggins, certainly up there. Tom Brennan. Former Vermont coach.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of funny guys. There's so many good people in this profession, and I think sometimes we, as a profession, we get a little bit of a bad rap because there's some people that are not the most ethical and do things a little bit off the wall. And now with very little rules, it's not the same. But high majority of the guys are just good people. Now, what has happened, it's hard to have friendships within your conference. Like, I'm not going to play golf with John Gross. I'm trying to beat him in everything, in recruiting, and it gets you, especially in the MAC, because geographically we're here. So that means we recruit the same guys, and there's bad blood between teams because of recruiting and what was said and on the floor, but that's also a thing that as a coach, I love that. I love it. I love that intensity. And you asked about that one word about competitive. There you go.
Yeah. And we're going to see it this weekend at the up at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse for sure. It's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks in a good way.
I hope so.
The song that best describes you.
I'm an Earth, Wind, and Fire and Supertramp guy, so I'm going to go back old school.
Give me a song.
I couldn't even mention the name, to be honest with you, but that's me. I'm Supertramp.
Yeah. We've had. I don't think anyone's ever said that. All the coaches we've asked, I don't think anyone's ever said the same artist, and I don't think anyone's ever really had the same genre because we've
covered a lot of genres.
Yeah, Coach Becker was Grateful Dead.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had a nice hour 20-minute therapy session with him. So
he's a very good golfer, by the way. He comes to Inverness every year.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's a very good golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
he spends a lot more time on a golf course than I do.
Yeah, I think he played competitively in high school or college too. Look at it. So,
who are some good basketball coaches that are golfers?
Probably the best is Greg McDermott. He's supposed. I've never played with him. I'm not. I took a 14-year vacation. My entire career here at Toledo, I've stopped playing golf. I picked it up again last year. I'm more of a late guy, but last year I got back into it, and I want to work at the game and get good at it again. I was down to maybe a 14 handicap when I was at Green Bay, and right now I suck. So I got to get it down to a respectable number.
Yeah, there you go, Coach. So Sam, finish him off, man.
Yeah, Todd. So we're just going to turn the pod over to you for a minute or two. Anything you want to share with the Rocket faithful, alumni, student section, boosters, fan base. You guys have a starting conference tournament play here on Thursday against Kent State.
11 a.m.
Yeah, anything they can be expecting from you guys? What's the message in the locker room the next couple of days leading up to that?
The message in the locker room is just pretty simple. Let's just go there and have fun and play hard. Just play hard, have fun. I want to see high fives. I want to see celebrations. I want to see smiles. I think sometimes when you go and you're in a one bid league and it's a winner take all, guys get a little bit too tense. And I just want to go there and have fun and let the chips fall where they may. Akron's a really good team. Ohio's a really good team. We're regular season outright champions for the fourth straight year. Never been done in conference history. No one did it 3 times, let alone 4. No, I shouldn't say any current team. Like Cincinnati Bearcats did it in 1947. That's how far back you have to go. And you guys know this league's history. There's been some great players and some great teams, and some great coaches. And for the Toledo to be talked about as, maybe as the best program, over time and consistently, I'm proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Coach, I'd rather be on your side of the bracket than the other side of the bracket where Akron and OU are.
Hey, OU's got 6 straight wins. They're playing really well.
Yeah.
What separates them is they can really shoot the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying Akron can't shoot the ball?
I didn't say that. They can. Akron's.
But that's been their struggle. That has been their struggle.
Akron's the best team in the league.
Yeah.
We won their championship. Akron's the best team in the league. They have 5 fifth-year senior starters.
Yeah.
I did not watch their recent losses. We played really well against them at our place. We beat them.
Yep.
They played really well at their – so we split with them. But because of their senior leadership, they're the best team, in the league. Doesn't mean they're going to win the tournament.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Coach, you're going to stick on with us as we get this uploaded. Thank you so much. I will look forward to seeing Cleveland. I will be cheering for you because Kent State still has not come on the podcast. So that's how I roll.
I'm happy to do it anytime, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Coach. All right, so we had fun with Raheem Moss. I said when he and he was muted, and I said, "Hey, it's Enrique from Akron." The look, man, you gave me, and I know that's your heated rivalry. We've actually had Enrique on the podcast, and we got Raheem Moss, star player from the University of Toledo, the Rockets. Welcome to the Full Court Press podcast.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. We just finished with Coach K, or as we like to call him, Todd with 1D. Man, you guys are getting after it, and this is let's see, you've been there. This is what, your 3rd year, correct?
I've been here for 4 years, but it's my 3rd year playing.
Yeah, so 4 years, and you've been regular season champions, which is phenomenal. And they just don't, like, we talked with Coach K about this, and Sam and I've talked about this too. You guys just don't get the respect for some reason at Toledo, but you guys are the number 1 seed in the MAC tournament. I'm going to be there in the flesh, and I'm going to be cheering for you guys. So, yeah, I'm real excited. Like, you've really taken off this year.
Yeah.
You're averaging about 8 points a game the last couple of years. What have you kind of done differently this offseason to kind of just, you're the leader of this team.
Right. Well, I knew that this summer, of course, it was going to be, majority of my team, with as far as this experience and me being, the only guy that's been there for the past 4 years and whatnot. So I just had to just, change my mindset and just adapt to the player I wanted to be, and that's just a player of the year type player. And with that type of vibe I was getting, I just knew I had to come in, lead this new team that the media and all the other guys and people outside just thought wasn't going to be able to pick it together, or if they could, would they be able to do it at a high level like we are. And I just knew I had to turn it around and just continue to do what I do. Just of course stick to what I do best, getting downhill and playing my game, and just make some little minor tweaks to it though.
Yeah, and it's just funny. I'll let Sam speak in a second, but it's funny because we started this in November, but you guys lost Ray J. Dennis, and I said to Coach, like, who's that? He thought that was kind of comical. So really, when you look at that, you can kind of understand it to a certain extent if you're looking from outside, not from inside out. But you guys have done a really great job.
All right. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's just the standard for Toledo basketball. We're about winning championships and winning basketball games. And just coming out here competing, being the best player we can be on and off the floor. But I give a lot of credits and shout outs to the coaching staff and for just grooming us and changing us as young men, treating us as young men, and also helping us become better men in life.
Yeah, Raheem, it seems like you're playing like the best basketball you've played in college so far. Like last Friday against Kent State, 21 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, 5 rebounds. You just basically own the game, right? Like what does that momentum mean at that stage in the season as you move into conference play this Thursday?
That was just me just playing basketball and just going out there just trying to compete hard and get a win. But I felt like it was more so, a statement also, letting people know that, I can be that guy. And I've always been that guy. It's just, in certain situations when you're on certain teams with elite players, you got to know your role and understand that, what's best for the team. So, but, coming into this season, I knew what type of player I was going to be. It's all about mind prepping and, getting your mental side ready first. Man, I always knew and, manifest that I was going to have a great season. And, as you can see, I am.
Yeah, it seems like that standard that you talked about in Toledo basketball, it's just been consistent, under, Todd's leadership the past 14 years, specifically these last 4.
Raheem, he calls him Todd because he can't say his last name, nor can I.
Kowalczyk. I started off with your coach, calling him Coach, and he was like, "Stop calling me Coach, just call me Todd." And but my question was, talk a little bit about your squad this year. Like what's working really well. Any of your teammates that have really surprised you? It looks like you have a really good mix of freshmen and juniors, so potential to have every single player back next year. What's clicking for you guys this year?
Well, it's the best way I can describe it as of right now. And I would say that this team, we've been on cruise control, and towards the end of the year, as we're in cruise control, we're figuring things out and trying to find new ways to add to our ship or to the machine or whatever we got going, you know what I'm saying? And I say as of right now, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process of leading and, finding new ways to, teach these guys certain things that may not click with them a certain way, and I would just say all of them, honestly, I enjoy all of them in the way that they're all changing because I can see it, from the start of the summer and understanding like where we came from and the adversity we had to battle through of losing, tough games that we thought we could pull away early in the season, even in conference. But, I feel like those type of moments throughout the season can help a championship team. It helped us out a lot. And as you can see, we won outright again, 4 straight. And, I'm proud of these guys, and this is nothing. This is standard, like I said, and we're ready for the big one.
Yeah. Sam, I think we're ready. Should we do it, Sammy?
Let's do it. So Raheem, LT's going to ask you a series of just kind of 6-7 quick questions. Whatever the first thing comes to mind, just let it rip. Most of them are pretty fun questions, whether it's one word or one sentence. Just have some fun with it.
Okay.
All right. One word to describe Coach K.
Intelligent.
Ooh, that's the first time a player's ever called his coach intelligent. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the cafeteria food at Toledo?
6.5.
6.5.
But I haven't ate there in 2 years. So
Okay, there you go.
Things change.
That's funny. If you weren't called the Rockets, what would you change the name to?
I don't know. Something with rock though, because our stuff represents. We got all our buildings around campus is rock.
Okay.
Built around a rock building.
The Toledo Rocks.
Toledo Rocks. That would be
Toledo
tough.
Rocks. Okay. This is a tough question. Who leads the team in personal fouls per game?
It's not me. Personal fouls? Is it TC? Tyler?
No. Javen Simmons, 3.1 personal fouls a game.
Wow.
Which team has the lowest amount of fouls per game as a team?
Which team in the MAC?
Yeah.
Akron?
Ball State.
That's a hard one for a player.
That's a hard one. Ball State. Ball State. All right. Funniest teammate.
Funniest teammate? I would say Sam Lewis.
Okay. Worst dancer.
Worst dancer? Sorry, Ben. Probably Ben. Yeah, I'd probably say Ben, man. He don't bust a lot of moves, though.
Okay. Biggest trash talker of your teammates on the court.
Javen.
Okay.
Really? What's one of the funniest things he said?
Who, Javen?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just like it's just literally a lot of trash talk with him. Like no matter how it's going, circumstances. He could be losing, he could be winning. It's just he's gonna talk his talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Favorite arena you've played in? Not Toledo.
Breslin Center.
Oh, nice. Okay, Breslin Center. Song that best describes you. What's your walkout song, your anthem?
Walkout song. Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
Ooh, Meek Mill. I like Meek Mill. Song that best describes Coach.
I'm gonna say Tennessee Whiskey or he like him some country. So I'm gonna say something like that.
That's funny because what did he say? He said
Earth, Wind, and Fire. So
yeah.
For himself. But I can see the country angle for him for sure.
Yeah. He drinks his beer and he likes his country.
Sure. We got country. We got this thing called Country Fridays. We just bang. We listen to music before practice and all this, but we bang Country Friday every Friday. Man.
Love it.
So on Friday, will you bang Country Friday in Cleveland potentially?
I doubt it, but if we played on the speakers or something, he will make it known that we playing country.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. All right, Sammy, finish him up.
Yeah, Raheem, just going to turn it over to you for a minute. Anything you want to share to the Rocket kind of fan base, student section, alumni boosters, anything you guys are going into a conference postseason play here, starting on Thursday. It seems like kind of the one thing that you guys haven't achieved with these conference regular seasons is a conference tournament championship. What would that mean to both kind of you and Todd and the guys who have been around for a couple of years here?
Well, yeah, of course it'll mean everything. This is literally everything. It's just 3 games we can win straight out. That's something that we've done during the regular season and against non-conference or regular conference, but just something that we just quite couldn't figure out in the big tournament. So it'll mean a lot for everyone. Mainly our team and this community because they deserve it as much as we do. And you know, we just gonna need as much as the support we can get. You know, we'd love to have the whole 419 out there celebrating and cheering us on all 3 games, man. Very excited for it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Raheem, we appreciate you coming on the Full Court Press podcast, a college basketball experience, man. We're big fans of yours and some of the numbers and leadership that you've put up this year, man. It's you guys are one of the most fun teams to watch. You can tell you guys like playing for each other, you know, and the basketball IQ with your leadership on the court's just incredible, man. So congrats on another regular season MAC conference season and championship, and good luck this postseason, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So Raheem, thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the Full Court Press podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And we'll be back when we're freaking back, because we never know anything. So, all right, Sammy.